Coming up on Mountain News at 6, the green light has been given for plans to build a prison in Letcher County. We'll hear from folks who are for it as well as some against it. And with the general election inching closer, we take a look at a couple of races we're keeping an eye on.
And we were wet yesterday. How are we looking on radar today? I'll have that answer coming up.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
With plans for a new federal corrections facility in the mountains recently approved by the Bureau of Prisons, many folks are celebrating. Some, however, are rallying against the decades-long effort to plant a prison in their community. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has an update from Letcher County.
For some, it is approximately 20 years of work now showing progress.
We're just watching and hoping that that moves along in a reasonable speed.
For others, it is a fear they have been fighting against for decades.
We're still a long way off from this happening.
Plans to build a new federal correctional institution and federal prison camp in the Roxana community moved forward earlier this week, with Congressman Hal Rogers and other supporters like Elwood Cornett saying it is good news for the local economy.
Very excited. I think if there's anything that Letcher County needs is a few hundred good jobs.
Members of the concerned Letcher Countyans group say that number looks good on paper until you look at reports from the National Institute of Corrections that dive into the stress and concerns of the jobs.
Are they really jobs that are something people want if the life expectancy is only 59 years? High stress, some say equivalent to the trauma that soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan experience.
Group Secretary Artie Ann Bates says the group and its supporting partners believe bringing a new federal correctional facility to Letcher County would be a safety concern for the public, an environmental concern, and will only contribute to more issues instead of working at solutions in the mountains.
The country as a whole is realizing that other developed countries don't incarcerate at the rates we do. And we can't just incarcerate our way out of our social problems, such as drug abuse and that sort of thing.
But those involved in the planning and planting of the proposed prison say it will not only benefit the county, but those incarcerated, with plans expecting room for more than 1,400 individuals.
Have a lot of vocational opportunities, a lot of correctional activities and atmosphere to help those folks become productive and cooperating citizens.
Though the approval for construction was the latest step, Cornett says the next step for the facility is to secure the 500 acres and begin planning for the future. In Letcher County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
A statement from Congressman Rogers' office said the Bureau of Prisons is estimating a one-year window for the design work and property acquisition. After that, they expect to move forward with the build. A woman is taken to the hospital after a head-on crash in Wayne County. The two-vehicle collision happened just before 7 last night at the intersection of North Main Street and the Kentucky 90 bypass. Police say a 79-year-old man was driving his SUV eastbound on Kentucky 90 when a Kia trying to turn onto North Main pulled into his path. The driver of the Kia, 28-year-old Brooklyn Hathaway, was taken to the hospital. The driver of the SUV was not hurt in the crash. A Laurel County man is facing charges following an assault complaint. Police responded to the incident on Wednesday. When police conducted an investigation, they learned that 70-year-old Richard Evans reportedly strangled the victim. Officials say the victim was also struck in the head and had knife wounds on her hand. Evans was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. In Bell County, police are searching for a missing man. Here's a picture of Harold Stewart. Police say Stewart has not been in contact with his family since March. He is described as being 6 feet tall, roughly 180 pounds. If you have any information on where he might be, you can call Bell County Dispatch at 606-337-6174.
We had that front yesterday that brought some much needed rainfall to our area, and as we continue into today, we're going to see a little bit of those chances of rain, especially as we're moving to more of our westerly counties. But we're tapering off. As you look at the end of that radar loop, you can see it's mostly out of our area. Maybe a few spots seeing a sprinkle here and there. But those current temperatures are going to be absolutely nice and beautiful, especially if you're starting to stay completely dry. You can go out and maybe enjoy it, wear a sweater, maybe get a nice warm drink and enjoy the day. We're seeing a range in the 60s across the board, and it'll continue to be that way, lowering ever so slightly to our overnight lows, which will be more of the temperatures we expect to see this time of year, in the 40s for the most part, with some areas a little bit cooler. 39 for Manchester, Irvine, Somerset, and Monticello, and warmer as you travel down to Jacksboro, 53 degrees for your overnight lows. But if you're heading out this evening, temperatures will continue to get cooler, but we're going to stay nice and clear up till the 8 p.m. hour and see those clouds start rolling in by the time that overnight hours come around. Steve.
Megan, thanks. If you did not take the opportunity to vote early today or yesterday, you have one more chance tomorrow. In Bell County, you can either go to the Middlesboro Community Center on 30th Street or the old courthouse between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. In Lawrence County, the courthouse will be available for folks to cast their ballots between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And in Whitley County, you can go to the courthouse in Williamsburg and Corbin City Hall between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can find all the early voting locations and hours across the state at govote.ky.gov. And as we get closer to Election Day, here are some more local races we'll be keeping a close eye on. In the battle for the 6th Congressional District, Republican and incumbent Andy Barr is taking on Democrat Randy Cravens. Barr has served as the U.S. Representative for the 6th District since 2013. 5th District Congressman Hal Rogers is running unopposed. Here's the showdown for state representative in the 71st District. That district consists of Laurel, Pulaski, and Rockcastle counties. Republican and incumbent Josh Bray is up against Democrat Rochelle Riddle. Officials with Harlan County Schools say 2 schools were dismissed early due to a mainline water break. That break occurred in Everts this morning. As a result, Everts and Black Mountain Elementary Schools let out at around 10 a.m. Officials with the Everett City Water Works say a 6-inch line broke at approximately 7 a.m. Officials have not laid out a timeline for when the repairs will be finished. A portion of Highway 421 will be closed tomorrow. Officials with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet announced crews will be working on a utility operation. The road will be closed at mile point 18.19 from 8 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. Officials say drivers can follow a detour sign. Crews will also be working on a road in Morgan County. Kentucky Highway 437 will be closed on Monday at mile point 3.6. Work will begin at 8:30 a.m. and is expected to be completed by 2:30 p.m. Crews will be working to replace a drainage pipe. There will be no marked detours, but drivers can use Highway 172 and 589 as alternate routes. Daily operations at a nearby state park are going to be transitioning soon. Officials with the Jenny-Wally State Resort Park in Floyd County are changing operations to their winter model. The park will be closed Mondays and Tuesdays beginning Monday and until April 1st. Funeral arrangements are set for a former Southern Kentucky police chief. Elijah Holland died on Tuesday. He served in law enforcement for 34 years, including 17 of those as police chief of the London Police Department. Holland's visitation will be on Monday from 10 a.m. until noon at Bowling Funeral Home Chapel in London. Holland's funeral will take place immediately following the visitation. Elijah Holland was 77 years old. Senator Johnny Turner died last Tuesday after a life of public service. Today, family, friends, and colleagues gathered to remember the Harlan County native. WYMT's Madison Carmouche has the story.
Governor Andy Beshear called for flags at half-staff in memory of the life and work of Senator Johnny Turner.
Serving in the Senate to bring investment and make Eastern Kentucky a wonderful place to live, and his presence is going to be sorely missed this upcoming session.
Everett's Magistrate Bill Moore says Senator Turner was a giving man in every sense.
I actually have a manger scene that he gave me for Christmas 2 years ago. And we display it every year, and it's really going to mean even more this year.
And Harlan County Judge Executive Dan Mosley says Senator Turner was more than his politics.
Johnny has a big family, a very big family. They are a very tight-knit bunch of people.
But that loving and giving spirit will live on in these mountains through those who loved him most.
his strength still lives through all of them, and it's a tough time in our community, but we are standing in support of them.
All agree he will be missed as a champion for the mountains and the people who live here. In Harlan County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
The funeral service for Senator Turner will be tomorrow beginning at 11 a.m. at Holy Trinity Catholic Church. Senator Johnny Turner was 76 years old.
Temperatures today are cooler, but we expect to get warmer as we're coming in a couple of days. I'll have more coming up.
And the clock goes back 1 hour this weekend. We'll hear from a physician about how the time change could impact your body.